Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Enjoy the Bounty of Planning with Tonisha Taylor. So, I have 3 planners on my desk right now because it is time to move from my old Scribbles That Matter planner to my new Scribbles That Matter notebook because my old one is actually completely full. And it turns out to be a really good time to do that because it is the end of the month. It's the end of February, and we're going into the beginning of March. And so I do really prefer to start a new planner at the beginning of a month. And so it's really great to be able to do that now. One of the things that is happening with this planner is you can see like just how fat it's getting. Because there's so much stuff in here. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like it's crazy how much stuff I have stuck in this planner, but I love it. So, one of the things that you guys know from other videos is that I tend to like stick pieces of paper in my planner. Like if I get notes from other meetings, I tape them in here. Handouts from trainings, I tape them right in here. And so it means that even though this is a bound book, it gets, oh, my hands I did just moisturize them because they felt really dry. So I end up sticking a lot of paper in here, but like I said, I love it. But as a bound book, it means that it kind of makes it a little bit, it warps the covers when you do that. So this one's all like flat and new and pretty and never been used. And this one is very lived in and happy and grateful. So it really did enjoy the bounty of its little life. So listen, this is the one that I'm leaving, my baby, is my first Scribbles That Matters notebook. So the Scribbles That Matter notebook, before I started doing Scribbles That Matter, I was bullet journaling in Electrum 1917. And so I'm gonna pull the last one I used. So this was the one that the journal I was using before. Whenever I first started bullet journaling, this is the notebook that I used. And so the 1917 notebook I really did like a lot. It is just like the Scribbles That Matter. It's a dot grid. It has pre-numbered pages. I don't know how easy that is to see. But it's the same size as this one. It's the B5, yeah, to double check because this one actually says what size the pages are. So it's the same size. It's the B5, which is the size I prefer. The bullet journal system that writer came up with works with, I believe it's the A5 size, so it's a much smaller notebook size. And I'm actually looking because I think it might be, I'm not 100% sure if that's an A5 size journal. Let me see. Because usually it's the much smaller one, and I definitely have an A5 around here somewhere because I did try it for a hot second and then realized that was not going to work for me. But anyway, I moved from the Electrum to the Scribbles That Matter because Scribbles That Matter has more pages in it. So it still has a pocket in the back. It has a section for mindfulness in the back. It has pen test pages in the back. So the last kind of cover pages are pen test pages, which obviously I used and liked. But this one has a total of 197 dot grid pages, whereas the Lectrum has only 123 dot grid pages. And so those extra pages made a huge difference for me, where you can tell, because I labeled it and this was true of all of my journals, they usually went from January to May, so they usually went about 5 months in these journals. Whereas in my Scribbles That Matter, I'm gonna end up going from June 1st to February 29th, which means that in this journal, I will have gone 9 months. So that extra 30-ish pages, or I'm sorry, actually, no, it's because it's roughly 120 pages in that one and just over 190 pages in this one. So that extra 70 pages represented 3 extra months for me. And so I'm definitely going to stay in the Scribbles That Matter, because at 9 months, that means that depending on when I switch journals, I'm getting an entire academic year in one planner. But it also means that, as academics, our lives are usually governed by the academic calendar, which is a 9-month calendar that goes from August to May. And so whether in this case I switched into this journal at the beginning of June, which means I went all the way through my summer research season and all the way through fall term and halfway through spring term in this one notebook. And I actually originally thought that I was gonna maybe make it all the way through to the end of the academic year, so all the way through my summer research period until the end of the spring term, but it just didn't work out that way, in part because I had a bunch of things that happened in the summer that meant that I used a lot of pages for notes, which obviously is the point, but it means that I didn't have, and then I also had more in this journal than I think I've ever had, a lot of places where I had one blank page, and because I do my weekly spreads and I don't like them to not be facing each other, like across one spread like this, I ended up with some blank pages in there, which I don't really mind that's what happened. It's just the way that it is. But I will say that I got a lot better layouts and use out of this one than in my old journal, the way that I used to lay out my weeks. So I used to lay out my months where I had the cover page that was more decorative and then like a small monthly layout, and then my weekly layouts, I hope you could see this is kind of light, but I still did the columns, and then I had the appointments and to-dos, and then the research and writing projects, and then I had some note-taking space, and then I had all of my tracking that was going on down the side. Well, now I do my tracking in Happy Planner calendars, which is actually working out in a lot of ways better for me to do it that way. I changed the way my weekly layout looks, and I changed the way my monthly layout looks. So in August, I decided, so I was still in June. Let's go back to June. In June, I still had a cover and then the small calendar. And by August, I had spread the calendar out across the whole spread because I really needed the space to be able to write in what was going on. And by August, I also, in the end of August is when I switched to a new job and I became a department chair at a new university. And so what started happening in my journal also started to shift because of that as well. And so I changed my weekly layout. So you can see for this one, for the first week of class, I did sort of my thoughts and my task list. And then my weekly layout, in September, I kept the same monthly layout, and then my weekly layout kind of stayed similarly situated. And then by the time we got to the end, in February, is when I started doing the little boxes, and then still having a full page spread for the monthly calendar, and started doing sort of bigger, or kept doing what I was doing in terms of putting in like the big events on the month. I don't do like dailies here. I do more like the dailies in a weekly layout here. And so, but what I started adding in February was going back and putting in and making sure that I'm getting my research time and that I'm doing the things that I need to do to build, so that on Fridays, which are my research days, I have the building blocks that I need. I've done the reading that I need to do, I've done the pre-writing that I need to do, and the drafting that I need to do in order to build my essay or my project or do my data analysis or what have you on Friday, which is my research day. And so really making sure that I'm getting that time during the week to make things happen on my research day. So my weekly layouts for February, honestly, are some of my favorite layouts that I have in this journal. I love the capital chic stickers, which I'm actually gonna pull this book out of here because I want to make sure I put it in my new calendar. But this sticker comes from this pack, and then these daily stickers come from the monthly packs that she has. And so in the monthly stickers, you get your month label, you get your daily labels, you do get some number stickers as well to be able to date things. And so some of these stickers is what I use to create the February layout. I use the daily stickers because I like the smaller numbers here, so it gives me more space to write, versus the bigger numbers. These heart-shaped bigger numbers come from the Happy Planner memory book, which is this one, I think. Yeah. So it's this one, the memory keeping book, which if you remember some of my other layouts, I use those stickers and some other layouts as well. So I really love the way that this kind of went for the month of February. So for the last week in February, as I showed on my monthly calendar, is when I really started refocusing on making sure that I'm getting my writing and my reading time in so that I can make the most out of my research days between it, because I don't get to do as much writing and reading as I'd like to when I'm in the office because of the administrative tasks that I have to do. And so I have to do that at home before I go into campus or in the evenings when I come home. And so I really wanted to get back into making sure that I'm really putting a priority on that and making sure that that happens so that I can, like I said, I can do the things that I need to do to make the projects happen. So I used to, last year, at the top of every week, I would write this little reminder to myself of how much time I'm supposed to be spending on my reading and writing. And so this is my time goal. So 30 to 45 minutes of reading and writing on teaching days, 90 to 120 minutes of reading and writing on non-teaching days. And so you can see on Monday, I was also traveling. So I did get the reading done, which was really great, but I didn't get the drafts, the edits done that I needed to get done. Again, I was traveling. Here, I got the writing done, which I actually forgot to mark. that, I actually did get some of my draft goals done that day. But I still had more to do. I didn't finish everything that I'd really goaled out for that day. Here I got the reading done, but I didn't get the writing done, so I didn't mark off the draft. And so that's kind of like where I am as I come into the end of the week. I need to really work on getting my research done. I need to work on my grading to grade my class. And then as I'm coming into March, I need to make sure that I add to my calendar. I am an interest group chair for Western States Communication Association, so I need to make sure that the calendar dates for planning that conference for next year are things that are part of my research calendar, because the things that I need to do to organize and help plan that conference are going to happen during my research time. So I need to make sure that I am planning for that as well. So this is the end of the Scribbles That Matter. Oh gosh, I have to point out these new, if you are a stationery and research person, I gotta point out these, I know you've probably seen in your social media feeds, people talking about these transparent sticky notes. I don't know how easy that is to see. Oh yeah, you can see that good. So that's what the sticky note looks like. You can put it down right over like writing, and then right over that. They have already started to seriously change my life. When it comes to like making notes in books, like I don't have any that I'm using in this book right now, but oh wait, yes I do. So here's one already. So you can see like that's the note. See how you can see like all the text of that book right through that, and then where I've just sort of done an example where it just says right in the book, right? So you can just write right in here. You can, if you were to use a highlighter, for example, you can highlight something, especially if you are, if you're using a library book, for example. Like how many of us as scholars get library books? I know I still do, and like what would it do for my life to be able to, what does it do to be able to, hit the camera, to be able to use these transparent sticky notes to be able to highlight things, make arrows, underline text, right? Right on the sticky note. Now, admittingly, you pull up the sticky note, boom, gone, right? Like give the book back to the library and move on with your life, and don't feel like you've, know that you can give the book back. Or even like for those of you in graduate school, especially, if you borrow books from your faculty members, like I lend a lot of my books to graduate students who are working on research and can't afford to buy a book that I recommend that they read in order to take their comprehensive exams or write their thesis or whatever. One of the things that I actually might start doing, because I've definitely gotten books back from graduate students that had like their highlights in them, their pencil notes in them, and they feel so bad, bless their hearts. And so like I've had students who are like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Dr. Taylor, I wrote in your book and I'll pay for it. And I'm like, you couldn't afford to buy the book to begin with. That's why you had to borrow it. And so I never make my graduate students pay for the book when they write in them, but I'm always like, well, that happened. So now with these new sticky notes, which I'm using as like flags as well, I will probably go ahead and give a pack of these when I lend my books to my graduate students and my undergrads as well, that they can go ahead and use these to highlight whatever they want to highlight or note whatever they want to note, and they're not writing in my book, and then they can take their pile of highlighted notes out of the book with them and move on. And so, huge recommender though for if you're a planner, which obviously if you're watching this video, you either already are a planner or you're getting into planning. These are also great in your pre-printed planners. As you can see, I've just taken some and stuck them to the inside cover of my Happy Planner. And I love them for the fact that you can stick them right on top. You know, if you have something that you have to note, you can just stick it right on top. You can still see what needs to be written there. I have used these already for some pre-planning. And I don't know if I have any. I think I actually took them out. Where I was using them for pre-planning to be able to write in. Yeah, I actually moved them to places where they're gonna go. But I've started using them to pre-plan because you can see like one note covers 4 dates on this pre-printed one. So I've used them a little bit to write in things that I'm like, okay, I need to remember that this is happening on this date. But I do like my planner to have like some color coordination. And so I haven't always wanted to like write things on the date. And so it was nice to be able to put these little stickies down and then be able to write in information that needs to be written in there and then move it and write in what I want written there. So that's another use for those. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what we need to do to create my new bullet journal. So I'm just gonna take a little swig of coffee. And I don't know, you probably can't see that because, and I'm not gonna be able to tilt it because, or show it, I don't know. Is that showing? Can you see what that says? Nope, you really can't. So this mug says, "This contains magic," which is true. And it is from the Capital Chic Designs collection. And I love it. It is my favorite, my new favorite little mug. So I just wanted to show that off. So I have some tools here to be able to go into my new journal. So there's some front matter pages that are gonna come with me. So I'm still gonna do a cover page. I don't know how I'm gonna decorate it, but I know I'm gonna decorate a 2020 cover page. I know I'm gonna take my 12-month planner, my future log layout like this forward. I actually already started laying it out in here. So I'm gonna finish that up and you'll get to see that. And then I am going to do my 5-year plan, use the same layout as before. So this spread is coming with me. Of course, my research pipeline spread is coming with me. And also my writing projects spread is coming with me as well. My YouTube ideas and Thoughts on Theory blog ideas spread is actually not gonna make it to the next journal. Turns out, as you can see, completely blank, totally pristine, never wrote on them. So not taking this with me. I am gonna take my books to read list with me, particularly because I obviously used it, but also because I actually ended up, not only did I buy all 5 of these books, I read all 5 of these books. And I read way more books than this that I just didn't take the time to write them down. But these 5 have been huge in what I ended up reading during the course of the 9 months that this journal goes over. And so I'm definitely going to keep this spread. I really like it. So this one is staying. The memories spread is staying, even though I didn't really fill it out as much. I think I'm actually gonna go back and put some more things in here because I do love this spread. And so I think I'm gonna go back and put some more in there, just to kind of fill it through, because I do have some pictures that I didn't print, and I have my mini photo printer. So I think I'm actually gonna pull this out so that I remember to do that, and I'm gonna do that later, because I do have some pictures already that I know that I want in here, that just sort of capture what happened through the summer and the fall term and what have you. So the other thing that will be coming forward is this version of the monthly layout where I do the squares. I really, really love this. I started it in November and kept it going through the months. And so I will definitely be doing this monthly spread the same way. So I'll be doing it for March, and for March, we're gonna go into using the greens and blues for the month of March, probably more greens than blues, because I really love those green colors in March that kind of give you that spring feeling. But I probably will also include a little bit still of the pinks as well, and the purples. So I'm just gonna go ahead and have these because those are gonna be our colors. And then as usual, we will, or what's becoming usual, is a mix of stickers. So the Capital Chic Design stickers, some of the Wrong stickers, gotta of course bring out my Happy Planner spring book stickers because March, and really start to kind of decorate it up. So and have a good time with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at those front matter pages that we're going to be setting up. So I'll go in and write in I'll just sort of do my cover page. And then the index will be the same, the key and the index. One of the things I did notice is in my old planner, I actually ran out of index pages, right? And so I got to the end and was at page 143, and I still had a lot of pages left, right? So I had over 50 pages left when I ran out of indexing room. And so one of the things that I was going to do and then completely forgot, admittedly, is I was going to leave a page to be able to have an extra indexing page, but I didn't do that. Cause then I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna do a 2020 cover. And then I was like, I am. And then I thought what I would do is do the 2020 cover here, actually. Which I think is actually what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna put it here. And then, but yeah, I still ended up, I completely forgot to keep the extra page for the extra indexing page because I went straight to the future log. But that's okay. I think it'll obviously be fine. What I'm going to do in this one to be able to deal with the fact that I do need to index those last 50 pages is, remember the YouTube pages that weren't being used and the Thoughts and Theories blog pages not being used? I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna put a sticker over this so that I can write index up here, and then I'm just gonna index those last 50 pages so that I know what's actually in this journal for the rest of those pages. Because one of the things that I tell people all the time that I love about bullet journaling is because bullet journaling is based on really having dates for things, but also the other big thing is page numbers, right? Because you have page numbers, you can go back and figure out what's on that page. Like, when did you write that? What's the date around when that happened, right? And in your index, you can go ahead and write in whatever was going on, right? And so in my index, I always put in the monthly page, the weekly page, and then whatever was the big note thing that was happening on those pages, right? So like paper ideas, research call notes, conference notes, meeting notes for different things. I put those things in here so that I know, like, my plan to make full professor, right? Which I'm actually gonna highlight because that is a thing I really want to keep track of. Which is the other thing that I do after I'm done with a journal. I often go back and highlight certain things that I know I'm gonna want to go back to. So that I can easily find them and go back to them, right? So that's the kind of benefit of doing a research journal using the bullet journal method. So this is my future log. As you can see, I already started, and I just have this is probably gonna annoy the life out of me because I have little eraser bits in the crease of my page, but I'll learn to live. So I already started laying out my little calendars. So I'm gonna go March to December in this one because I have the sense that this journal probably isn't gonna last me a full year. But it will last me a full the rest of the academic year, the rest of the spring, and then which would be here with May, and then through the end of spring of next fall into December. So we're gonna go ahead and speed this up a little bit. I've already done, I don't know if you can see that. So in green, the last spring, yellow for summer. I'm gonna go ahead and use my orange Stedler and outline the fall, and then I think I'm probably going to use my red Stedler to outline December, and then I'll decorate it with some stickers and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. So I used Happy Planner has some different stencils, which I was using my stencils a lot earlier in my videos, and then when I first got this stencil, I was using it all the time, and then I started freehanding my monthly calendar that's on the side of my weeks. So I started and I actually stopped putting the boxes around it and started just writing the numbers in. It was really more of like a time issue, using the stencil and making sure to line it up and do the layout correctly and all of that. It does take a little bit of time. And so it was one of those things where I was like, I'm not gonna do this as much, just week to week, I'll just write the numbers in. But on my, when I do my year at a glance calendar, right, and sort of my future log, which is what this represents, I like it to be a little bit more precise. So I go ahead and I take the time to stencil this in. if I flipped through my Electrum journals from before, you would see that before I bought this stencil, I was kind of hand numbering and just really trying to stay within the dots and kind of relying on the grid. And man, was that stressful. So this is a much more relaxing way to be able to do it. And not nearly as stressful as that was. And so I just like it better. I like the way it comes out better. It's not as upsetting. Now this stencil does give you 7 boxes across and 4 rows down, so it gives you 7 columns with 4 boxes per column and then 4 rows, obviously. So the way I set up my calendar is I have my calendar mimic the way my electronic calendar looks. So my electronic calendar starts on Monday and ends on Sunday. And so I want my future log to be laid out the same way. So I start my future log on a Monday and I end my future log on a Sunday. So that's why you'll notice. And one of the things that I do that's like really I prefer is for my calendar to be laid out where I'm only boxing in the days that I actually need, right? So like this is, what is this? This is March, April, May. This is September, October. This is October. So October starts on a Thursday, ends on a Saturday. So that's why the boxes are laid out the way that they are. So let's go ahead and do November. All right. And then let's go ahead and use the red Staedtler since I did the spring in green, I'm gonna go ahead and do December in red. And then like I said, I'll just decorate with different stickers since I cannot draw. I'm gonna go ahead and use some of my different stickers to decorate this layout, you know, just with a few things for the different seasons and what have you. Now, I do still need to go in and write in, obviously, the numbers and then also the months as well. So I'm gonna do that. I started March where I did the boxes in a lighter color and then the numbers in a darker green. So I think I actually want to stick with that possibly for the remainder of the calendar months, because I think that makes it really pretty. In my last one, I did the colored boxes and I did all the numbers in like a dark gray. And so, which is nice, but I think it's more fun to do the numbers in a contrasting color. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm not gonna talk through this part. I'm gonna speed you guys up a little bit because I don't wanna mess up my numbering. Okay, so now that I have my layout complete, I'm gonna go ahead and move all of my orange and yellow. Why is there a blue and a purple pen in with the ones that, there we go. So my oranges, yellows, and browns, I'm gonna go ahead and move those over here because I'm not gonna use those as much. And so what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I think, is use the little monthly stickers that are in here, if I have any more in here. I'm gonna use those to write across the month. So it looks like in this one I have the big ones, but I don't have the little ones. Uh-oh. Let's flip through here one more time to make sure. Yep, definitely not. Okay, let's see. I have 2 of those. Let's see if I have monthly ones in the other one. I hope so. I hope I have enough months left, actually. Here we go. All right, so here's hoping that I even have enough. So let's go ahead and peel this off. So I want to go ahead and use these. And I'm gonna use, not that, I'm gonna use this to help stick them on right, because I want to be able to see the outline that I made. But I think so the reason why I'm doing these stickers too is because I want it to be kind of consistent, and also because the way that I do, oops, looks like there's like a little hair or something. When I write in the actual dates of events for each month, I actually write those in either blue or black anyway. So I really just want the calendar layout to be the colorful part, and then this part kind of ends up being fairly basic. So let's just go ahead and speed up through as I lay out these little monthly stickers. Alrighty, so there we go. So that is gonna be my monthly layout. Now I'll go back in off camera and put in all of the important dates for each month. But I do want to add just a couple of little decorative elements right now. So I kind of want to do, I think I'm gonna do this just between these, because I kind of like that. So the bullet journal system that writer Carol invented, which is what my planner is based on, is much more like minimalist in a way than what I end up doing. So if all of this for you as a researcher, as a scholar, feels like a lot, you don't have to go like, it doesn't have to be this big, right? It's just what I personally prefer. I'm gonna use this one too. I personally love a really colorful, decorated journal. And so, and if I could draw, the truth is, honestly, I would draw it all. But I can't draw, so there you go. So instead, I use stickers for the parts that I like. I'm gonna just go ahead and put this right down here in the middle. as I know that I always have a lot going on in the fall and I need to make sure I have room up here to write things in. One of the things that I always have to remember is to not get too excited with stickers before I write in all of the things that need to be written in. So but I love doing the sticker bit. Like it's the part that I like. Cause research is so much more fun if you can like decorate it up and like make it pretty and, you know, interesting. And so it's just easier to be like, oh yeah, I have this really great like deadline, which I know probably nobody ever says I have this really great deadline, but it's easier to like say that and feel that if you're not looking at least for me, if I'm not looking at something that is just like basic black and that's it, and there's nothing like fun or exciting or visually interesting about it, then it's really hard for me to stay focused and to like really care the way I want to. So there you go. So I need like those little gold foil stickers. I need like little decoratives around that make it interesting to look at. I want to find out, maybe they're nice, maybe there's some in the spring book. Let's use this one. For some little decorative things that are kind of spring-like. Let's go ahead and use these little flowers. So I wonder about using that one. I kind of want to use that one, but I think that might be too big. So we'll just use these like up here. And I kind of like these little like kind of sketch style ones that come in the Happy Planner, because then it kind of looks a little bit like I might have drawn it. But we all know I didn't, because again, we all know I can't draw. I like these little sunglasses, and these are much smaller, so they're a better fit up here. All right, there we go. Okay, that's a good start, I think, for spring and fall. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put my little, put a little pot right here, I think. Okay, all right. I think that's a good start. I want to, like I said, wait and get the dates and everything in here before I do any more, because I want to make sure that I have space for what needs to be written in here. So this is the future log. So the way that I use this is going to be like the big dates. So I'm going to write in like conference dates. I do write in big things like around my academic calendar. So like the first day of school, the last day of school, you know, graduation, like big things that I need to kind of run my research calendar around, but also even my personal calendar, because I actually do use my bullet journal to cover my research and my personal agenda. So I put like birthdays in here and other kinds of like big things that I want to remember for my friends and family. So all that kind of stuff goes in here as well. So that stuff will all go on this future log. All right. So let's go ahead, and I'm actually debating now whether I want to save this page for a possible additional index, or if I want to do, I think that's what I want to do. I want to save this page for a possible additional index, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and just write index across the top in pencil. so that I can make sure and decorate that as an index, because I can already tell based on how the other one went that these 3 pages of pre-printed index might not be enough, and I don't want to be kind of like out an index page, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right there. Okay, so we have the future log laid out. We need to go ahead and lay out our 5-year plan. So let me go ahead and take a look at how I did this one. So we did 4 across for January, which was a little small, yeah? So let's see, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 across. They all 6 across? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, they're all 6 across except for that one is 4. Maybe we should go 5 across so that we can just get a little bit more in there. I'm actually looking, it looks like I used it looks like I either used a Stedler or I used this micron pen when I did these lines. So I think I'm going to use this micron pen and go 5 across. And then how many down did we go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 5 across, 8 down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and speed y'all up again while I do this so that we can kind of get through what our 5-year plan looks like. Oh, before I do that, let me say this. So across the top, I'm sure you can tell it's January through December, and then the years go down. So we're already well into 2020 at this point. So that means that the 5-year plan will go 2020. So I'll have 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 in the next plan. And for this 5-year plan, this is basically just a conference, more or less a conference research plan. So it helps me to be able to figure out what are the projects sort of broadly that I want to do, how long do I want them to take, and how, where are they gonna go in the process. And then it gives me a way to be able to kind of see the overlap between my research projects that I'm working on, the conferences and talks that I'm giving, or conferences I'm going to, talks that I'm giving, and then my academic calendar. Right? So you can see that for the end of 2019, I actually didn't go back and put the academic calendar in, but I'll definitely make sure to do that on the 2020 calendar. And so this just gives me a way to be able to figure out sort of in broad strokes what I'm spending my research time on. It also allows me to figure out, because we know the calendar for conferences so far in advance, excuse me, it helps me to figure out which conferences I'm going to, when I need to submit things, if I'm submitting them, and what's gonna happen, right? And so it helps me to really have a broad kind of plan out, where the future log gives me that sort of month-to-month detail. This kind of gives me those sort of broad strokes, right? So I love it for planning research because it helps me to kind of think through projects, how many of them I have going on at once, but also when they need to happen in order to happen. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. So like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and speed you all up a little bit so you don't have to watch me kind of do this in real time. Just know that it takes time. So here is my future log for 2020 through 2024. Because I was starting to run out of twos, I went ahead and did a just the year for these. And I realized actually when I first did this, the way I laid this out, I was thinking I was actually going to write it by hand, and so the numbers would have been way smaller and I would have had more room in my January box, but I kind of lost a little bit of that. I'm not really that concerned about it though, because honestly, I don't usually have a lot going on in January with the exception of the first day of school. So it's not like a huge deal that I ended up taking up so much room on this side. So I am going to fill this in off camera. I just wanted to do the layout here so that you could see it. So when I come back at the end of this video, might go ahead and show you what it looks like all filled in. Okay, so let's go to the next layout, which is the research pipeline layout. This layout definitely takes a little bit more to do, but I do love it for the progression. So I'm gonna lay it out the same way I did the last time. So I'll have a column for the start date of the project, the completion date of the project. The complete date of the project is when I finish, and then the where it was submitted to, and then the title of the project, and then the progression. And so this goes from great idea to published, and this comes from the book The Professor Is In, where she talks about, you know, and the rest of the title is The Essential Guide to Turning Your PhD into a Job. And so in here, she talks about developing a research pipeline in order to get your research out. And this is how it's broken down. So it's great idea, draft proposal, proposal under review, data collection, data analysis, manuscript draft, almost ready, manuscript under review, in revision, revisions, under review, and then I added in progress. I think hers actually ends with published, because I kind of wanted to be able to note when things are like in press. I'm sorry, not in progress, in press. And so I wanted to have a note there. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do this the same way as I did the last time. So this is actually 3 boxes across and only 2 boxes down. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then I might write it in off camera. And so what you'll see when we come back is that, or I might just write it in and speed it through because it's gonna be all the same projects, is you're gonna actually see though that some projects aren't gonna make it to the new journal, because I've already decided that time-wise, I just don't have the time to work on them, and they've been languishing in the great idea space for over a year, which means that they don't really, that I obviously don't have the time for it. So I'm not going to give myself a whole lot of anxiety by moving forward a project that's been languishing in the great idea space for almost 2 years. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I want to come back and, like, as I'm putting in these last lines onto this grid, talk a little bit about the way that I use it. So I use my research pipeline, obviously, to keep track of projects and where projects are in the process. Will see me after I'm done doing these lines, write in the projects that are actually still in process. And then, as I said, you'll see some projects fall off that aren't really moving forward. And there's a lot of different reasons why a research project might not move forward, right? So like the projects that aren't going to make it from the old research pipeline to the new research pipeline, a couple of them are solo projects that I really have not had the time or even just the interest to really move forward. And so I kind of look at, why are projects languishing? So I think that research projects languish for really one of two reasons. They languish because of time, or they languish because I'm no longer interested in asking or answering substantive questions around that idea, right? And so sometimes it's actually three reasons. So it might be that I'm not interested anymore, which sometimes happens, right? Sometimes we get a great idea and we realize that like that idea is an idea that we can like talk out with a couple of people, and what we thought was an idea big enough for an entire research project, an entire journal article or book chapter or book, turns out that research idea doesn't have enough to be like a whole project. It might be enough to be like a conference paper, or what I find a lot of times is it's an idea that's enough to be like part of another project. So that's one thing that I use this to be able to do, both the research pipeline and the writing projects page, to write out those ideas to figure out, is there enough there to sustain an entire project? And then what's the length of the project that idea sustains? Is it a book length project? Is it a journal article project? Is it a book chapter project? A lot of it has to do with timeliness and length and these sorts of things, and ideas that I kind of think through as part of this process. The other reason why things don't make it, so they don't make it because of interest, or they don't make it because the project is too big or too small for whatever I originally imagined. The third reason why projects don't make it is just time, right? Whether it's a single authored project or a collaborative project, there's only so many hours in the day, there's only so many days a week, there's only so many weeks in a month, there's only so many months in a year, and so on, right? And so sometimes our projects don't move forward just because of time and timing. So you don't have the time and the timing's not right for that project, so you kind of let that project go. And that's okay to be able to do that. One of the reasons, again, why I love being able to journal on a pipeline like this, what's going on, is because it lets you see that, right? And it lets you see that faster than you would if you were just like, I don't know, just writing it in here on days and thinking, oh, I got this great idea, and it totally is everything that I want in the universe. And then you realize that that great idea that you thought was everything that you wanted in the universe is not really what you thought. As it turns out, it's just not everything you imagined, right? And that happens, and it's totally fine. And I think that it's okay to realize that and then move on from that. So I am right now just sticking in some from the Happy Planner Journal Doodling book is where I pull my stickers for this one. I'm hoping, here we go. I'm like, I'm hoping I have some pencil stickers. So let me look at how oh, okay. I was looking for like individual pencil stickers, but I see that what I did on the old one is that I actually cut these stickers so that they would fit. So I'm gonna do that again. So I'm gonna speed you up while I do this part. Okay, so this is my new research pipeline. So what we have now is that I just realized it's kind of dark over here. The pens are making it dark. Anyway, so whoops. So what we have is I went ahead and switched from my usual blue that I use for research to green, just to kind of brighten it up and change it up a little bit. But also what I did is, you'll notice from this research pipeline in my old book to the new book, there are a couple of projects that fell off. So the book, Black Digital Humanities, this is a timing issue. I just don't have the time to work on that one. And this one is also a timing issue. I don't have the time to work on it right now. But I do have lots of empty space in my pipeline. So obviously in the next 9 months while I'm using this research book, I could definitely go back in here and pick those projects back up. One of the things that's so great about doing a research pipeline is being able to color in these little boxes to show progress, which I'm really excited about. The other thing that I did here is I actually changed this project. Actually has a different title now. So I just went with like the main theories that it's got, because I can't remember the actual project. I'm gonna have to go back in there and put that in. And then I put in the special issue, which is already listed on the previous book, and then the book project that I'm still working on with my co-editor or co-author. It was going to be an edited volume, and then we turned the edited volume into a special issue because we got an opportunity to do that, so we're doing that. And then the book project itself is just going to be probably co-authored between the two of us, which is, we're both really excited about it. So let me go ahead and put in that I have a co-author. So I like to go ahead and just remind myself of that, because when you're co-authoring a project, you have different timings that you have to think about. And so it's important to kind of have that marked so that you know. Also, doing it this way is also a nice way to also be able to track how many single author projects you have that you're working on, and how many co-authored projects that you have, so that you can also keep track of that as well, and know what that is. Okay, and then this one's co-authored as well. So I usually don't have this many co-authored projects at once, but had some really great opportunities to work with some really amazing people. So I have listed the co-authored projects. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the dates as well. And I will note this project, The Audacity of Privilege, that I did with a couple of co-authors. This project was actually submitted and then was rejected from another journal. And we all really like this project enough that we're retooling it and resubmitting it. And so I'm actually gonna note that this is a resubmit as well. So I think it's also a good idea on your research pipeline to make a note of those sorts of things as well. So make note of the things where if you did the whole project and in a previous journal, your submit to might list a different outlet, and then you're retooling it and sending it to another journal, note that in your submit tos. So, and then start your clock again. So I'm actually going to start the clock for this new retooled project because we started reworking this project in August. So I am actually going to reset my clock for that project. Let's see, this project started in May 2019. This project, Lord have mercy, this project has been going on forever. I actually completed my part and have not touched this project again since I submitted it. I was asked for some new edits in 2019 and I did that. And yeah, that's where that project sits. Probably need to follow up with that sucker. Make sure I'm on the right line. Okay, yeah, so this project. Now, I did see on Twitter some folks in academic Twitter tweeting out like dates of projects that have languished forever, which, okay, before I talk about that, let me actually break my own thought here. So this project has been retooled again. It was retooled before it was submitted. So this new project actually has a new start date. So I am actually going to put the original start date, which was in 2017, and then the new start date, which was actually just recently. And I'm gonna put just retool, so that I know as a note to myself that between 17 and 19 there was a retool of this project and it became something else. And so it was actually submitted and accepted to a special issue. And so I'll write in the what it was accepted to here. And then the completion date, because it's actually going to be, it's due in March, so it has to be completed soon. So I'll be really excited to actually finish this project out. This project start date was 10/15/19, and this project is due soon as well, and so really excited to put that in. And then this project started 10/18/19. All right. Awesome. I'm missing a project. I just realized I did not put in the book project, which is well on their way. This project my co-editor just submitted, so this project, the manuscript, is under review. All right, wow, look at that. So that is a really exciting research pipeline. So excited to have that. So let's go ahead and make room for the research projects, which this is essentially just a to-do list. So I'm just going to go ahead and line this out. I'm just going to use the middle of the page, which in the Scribbles That Matter journal, this journal actually marks for you where the middle of the page is on the dot grid, and then where the middle of the dot grid is. So the middle of the dot grid is right here. So I am just gonna use these lines as my guide to be able to write this out, because I just do this as just a standard set of boxes to just give myself a little bit of room. So what I'm gonna do is, I normally do 6 boxes, but what I've noticed lately is that I don't use all 6 boxes, that I'm really using, or actually I normally do 6 boxes per page. And what I've noticed is I don't use 6 boxes. Or I only use 6 boxes in the whole time of the journal. And so I feel like what I want to do this time is just try doing 4 boxes per page, which will give me 8 boxes altogether, which will give me enough boxes for the active projects. And so that's what I want to go ahead and just line out here, is those active projects. And so I think what I want to do is, I was gonna do a line up here, and I think what I actually want to do is use this journal stickers, and where's the little, here we go. I think what I want to do is just do one of these right kind of in the middle of each one, because I really kind of, you know, I hate when lines are messed up, so I don't mind covering up that one. All right, and dropping that one a little bit does not bother me in the least. Let's go ahead and also use, where are those other little stickers? Let's use a little typewriter sticker. And then we'll just do this one in the corner. Some pens, just a couple of little stickers that like signal the writing motif. basically. I'm gonna do that one right there. Do that one right there. Then I think I want to do like paper clip, and then I think a pair of glasses. Okay. I don't know why, but I really like that. Oh God, that was terrible. Okay, let's go ahead and letter this in. Let's do, so these are gonna be our writing projects for 2020. And then I will write in the to-do list for the most active projects off camera and put those in. So it'll be the things that'll transfer over. Whoops. So it'll be things that'll transfer over from here. What are those most active projects? Because not all of these projects are transferring over. So that'll be that. And that'll go here on this layout, which I am very much looking forward to. Okay, so that means that our next page is our books page, right? And then I think after the books, the next page is the layout for the memories page, and then the layout for, and actually what I might do, yeah, so I'm gonna do the books page. I'm actually thinking about doing books page and then a memories page, and not giving the memory spread a whole spread of its own. But then I feel like if I don't give it a whole spread of its own, I feel like I will end up regretting that. So I think I'm gonna do that there. And then I'm gonna do this here. And I'll color those in. And these will be my reading list pages, because that already says reading list. So that'll be that. And then, although I do really kind of want to write this in. And then I'm actually going to write in also because I actually read a lot of journal articles, and so I want to actually start keeping track of those as well on my reading list. So I think we'll do those 2 pages for that. And then let's go ahead and for the memories page, I think I'm gonna use this one for what will become obvious reasons. Although to some of you, it might already be obvious why I would choose the sort of AKA themed wrong stickers for a memories page this year. I'm gonna stick those right there, and then I think I'm gonna use a couple of these capital chic stickers as well. to decorate just little bits of the corners because I like to leave this page fairly open because I do photos, and then I also include often like little notes about like where I traveled or who I spent time with and stuff like that. So I want to leave that open for that. Oh my gosh, we did a lot today. So here is my Scribbles That Matter for us starting in March. So I started my my new book with my future log. So I went ahead and laid out from March until December because I think I'm probably not gonna be able to get past December in this. If it turns out that I'm actually able to go all the way through to next February, I'll just go ahead and write those months in here later on. So I have my future log. I need to go ahead and put in everything here. These are gonna be my extra index pages. And then I have my 5-year plan. And I need to go ahead and write in here my research pipeline. I have my writing plan, my projects list for 2020, which is gonna have all of my active projects and the tasks that have to go into them. Here will be my list of books and articles that I'm reading, my memories page, and then started with my month of March. So this is gonna be my layout. So my stickers for this month predominantly came from, oops, not that one. Yeah, came from this monthly book, which Capital Chic Designs doesn't have it doesn't say which book it is necessarily, but I don't know if you can see that. So I ended up using, oh, not that one for that one, but I used, where did it go? It's in here somewhere. There it is. So you saw me flip through. I have 3 of the month designs, trying to figure out which March I was gonna use. So this book of green ones are all pretty much all like sort of camo designs. And I was gonna use this one, except I really like how bright this one was, and with the dresses, the full skirts. I don't know, that kind of spoke to me. And I remember that when I saw these stickers and I flipped through them and I saw this one, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to use this March sticker. So I went ahead and used that one. So I'll probably end up using those camo ones later. And then I really liked the little couple on the March sticker. The other one, even though it was yellow, I went ahead and used it anyway because I don't know. I also like her full skirt and like the little couple, so I just thought that was like really cute. So I went ahead and used that one. And then I used I think these are from the camo book, right? Is that what I did? Or did I do something else? Nope, yep. So these are from this one. And then the ones for here are from this one. That's why they match. So, and then I used the numbers from this one as well so that I could have my little numbers. And then I used the Happy Planner. I used the new spring book for this sticker and this one to remind myself to go read outside. I live in a place where it's actually really nice. We're gonna have an early spring this year, so I wanna go read outside more. And then especially when I'm on campus, I work on a really pretty campus, so there you go. So I also wanted to use some of these spring stickers to kind of bring in that yellow along with the green, since I used this sticker. So I used those. And then also from the Memory Keeper book, the numbers for the dates to date my week. So this is going to be my first week in March and my month of March. In my next video, I'll probably actually lay out 2 weeks. I started that in February, laying out 2 weeks back to back, and I actually really liked it. Actually toward the end of the month, I actually went ahead and laid out 3 weeks. I laid out the last 3 weeks, in part actually because I was gonna be traveling toward the end of February. I had a conference to go to. And so it was still really nice to have them laid out. And so my next video, I'll actually probably either lay out 2 weeks, or I'll go ahead and lay out the rest of the month of March actually, and do my weeklies for the rest of the month. Because what I'm finding is I'm doing a lot of my note taking on the week itself and then not using like the extra spread in between to do notes. So we'll see, because March also includes spring break. So we'll see where my note taking and research planning takes me. Okay, so that is gonna be it for my new bullet journal layout. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the bounty of your planning as you head into the spring writing season. All right, thanks so much. Oh, wait, before I go, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification button and all of that, so that you can know whenever I have new content up and stuff like that. All right, thanks so much. See you later. Bye.